All right, everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the Jordan Report, and I'm your host, Robert Jordan. Everyone, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Okay, guys, I'm going to expose a dirty little secret the Democrats have been hiding from us for years now, and that is the training of the police department. Training of the police department is the most important thing, not necessarily race, because if your police department are poorly trained, you're going to get poorly trained results. People will get hurt. The Democrats have been allowing these inner city police departments to be trained in Israel. Most people don't know this. Now we find out that the Minneapolis Police Department was trained by Israel. This is an article from the Israeli-Palestinian News. This is June the 2nd. Minnesota cops trained by Israeli police who often use the neck restraint. This is why training means everything, people. If you're trained to do this, this is what you'll do. This is a Palestinian here. Okay? Over 100 Minnesota law enforcement officers attended a 2012 conference organized by the Israeli consulate in which Israeli police trained them. Israeli forces often use the neck restraint on Palestinians. Israel has been training law enforcement officers around the U.S. for many years, despite the fact that Israeli forces have a long record of human rights violations. Why would we allow our police to be trained by people who have a long record of human rights violations? Atlanta, I'm going to show you a clip of the former Atlantic mayor talking about it. Someone confronted him over why his police department was being trained in Israel. Why is Los Angeles' police department being trained in Israel? New York, NYPD, New York has a liaison office in Jerusalem. They're very closely connected. The neck technique taught by Israeli trainers was in the Minneapolis police manual. The neck technique taught by Israeli trainers was in the Minneapolis police manual. Those people didn't do anything illegal, those cops that they just charged. It was in their police manual. They were trained to do it. Okay? Officers from the U.S. police force responsible for the killing of George Floyd received training in restraint techniques, anti-terror tactics from Israeli law enforcement officers. Mr. Floyd's death in custody last Monday, the latest in a succession of police killings of African Americans, have sparked continued protests and rioting in the U.S. cities. That's because the U.S. cities police departments are being trained by Israel, and we're not holding them accountable. This is what I'm putting this article together for. I'm not holding Israel accountable. I'm holding our leaders accountable. I don't care what Israel does. At least 100 Minnesota police officers attended a 2012 conference hosted by Israeli consulate in Chicago, the second time such an event had been held. There they learned the violent techniques used by the Israeli forces as they terrorized and occupied Palestinian territories under the guise of security operations. The so-called counter-terrorism training conference in Minneapolis was jointly hosted by the FBI. It is unclear whether any of the officers involved in the incident in which Mr. Floyd was killed attended the conference. I'm going to show you some pictures, and I'm going to show you the former mayor of Atlanta talking. Amnesty was compelled to report that hundreds of police from Florida, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, California, Arizona, Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, North Carolina, Georgia, Washington State, Washington, D.C., had been flown to Israel for training. Thousands more have been trained by Israeli forces who've come to the U.S. to host similar events to the one held in Minneapolis. According to somewhat selective rights organizations, many of these trips are taxpayer funded, while others are privately funded. All right, let me show you some of these pictures because these are exactly the same things we just saw here. Okay, the knee on the neck. All right, this is what they teach them to do. This is how your police departments in America were trained to do this. All right, look at this. Knee on the neck, punching him. All right, knee on the neck. He looks dead already. He already looks like they killed him. All right, I'll leave you the link to the article so you can read the article, but because it's quite long. But anyway, most of our police departments in any city have been trained by these people, and to their credit, some people have confronted their mayors about this. I'm going to show you a quick clip. All right, I'm going to show you a quick clip of the former mayor of Atlanta being confronted by these people, or at least this was a presentation that they made of him.
There was a demand that I stop allowing the Atlanta Police Department to train with the Israeli Police Department. I'm not going to do that. I happen to believe that the Israeli Police Department has some of the best counter-terrorism techniques in the world, and it benefits our police department from that long-standing relationship.
All right, people. The next time you see one of these people get killed, check to see who trained your police department. Don't get mad at anybody. Do your homework.